yesterday. And last year I was posting videos a lot about narcissism, the narcissist, empaths. Angry, I was hurt, I was betrayed. I was going through, a tragic, sudden situation, a situation coming to an end, grief and stuff that had piled up for years. I was going through something. That was the only way I really knew how to cope with it. When you make content publicly, here's the thing. Even though I've gone through my process this year of anger, pain, grief, shock, healing, whatever I need to do, and, therapy, I've continued to go to my therapist that I've seen off and on since I was 14. I've continued work with my spiritual mentors, and I've been coming through this process to get me through to the other side. So I can make freaking peace with something and go on, whether I choose to make peace with that person or not, or however that turns out. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know I'm on one level with that, and I know where I'm at with that, I also still feel torn a lot of days, a lot of triggers, a lot of pain, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety coming through the tail end of that process. And I still feel like creating content, here's the thing. You always feel torn between talking about where you are, the progress you've made. And when you're a person that grows rapidly, that you won't even be on the same level of consciousness that you were on a month or two ago. When you're a person that does that work all the time, ever growing, ever expanding, you're not going to be looking at it in the same damn angry, stuck way that you were a couple months ago or 6 months ago or a year ago. Frick, no, you're going to be on a completely different level of consciousness if you're doing that damn work. And that's going to sound crappy to some people who are still healing, who are still on a different level of their healing. They're still angry or they're still whatever. And we have to learn to respect all those dynamics and levels that people are on and not look at each other and say, well, you should be feeling this way, or you should be holding them this way, or you're weak because you do this way. We're all on different damn levels of our own individual processes. If you had, so it may sound flippant or toxic positivity, spiritual bypassing, for me to look at someone and say, I'm not angry anymore. I don't really want to dwell on the narcissist and the empath anymore. I never was out for narcissist bashing anyway. I was out for knowledge. I have a lot of people in my family with personality disorders. That's nothing new to me. People not having empathy, people's brain not being able to compute and feel me the way they should. And I have a almost 50-year history with this. Okay, that's no big shock to me. I want the knowledge. I want to get on the deeper side of understanding things and basically healing and help for us all. I never was on a witch hunt for narcissists. Never was. I was angry and hurt and betrayed at some things that were happening to me at the time, and I dealt with it how I knew to deal at the time. I went through my process, just like everyone's entitled to do. I stood in my anger. I stood in my pain, my shock. I expressed it. I sat many, many months alone working through that shit to come out the other side of it. And if I find peace and forgiveness and healing on the other side of that, then so be it. And, I worked through a lot of those processes and don't necessarily want to stay in that particular energy anymore. But here's another reason why I feel constantly torn is because if you want to create content, the videos that I put out last year, the year before that, people got to see me on different levels of my own damn growth process. They got to see me on all sides as I went through things and as I processed. And some of it wasn't pretty. But, it can keep you feeling torn creating content because here's the thing. Your viewers, the people that come along and follow your content, your videos,
whatever energy you were in that video, whatever attracted them to it, it's a thing where you feel like you need to stay in that zone and continue talking about those same things because that's what your audience is interested in. You see, and a lot of times behind the scenes, I could put out one video and then within a couple weeks, I'm in a completely different energy space because I've been doing the work, either going to therapy or sitting at home on my own, reading and studying and purging things and having the mental breakdowns, having the emotional breakdowns, having to walk through that stuff, not skipping it, not denying it, not distracting it, not medicating it away, not whatever, just doing the work, okay, to come through that energy. And I'll be, in a totally different energetic space. True enough. But I still have to find a way, because when you have a YouTube channel and, you put out Facebook videos and that's what you want to do, content creating, well, you also have to think about your viewers, your audience, what is attracting people to your message, to your videos in the first place. And you kind of feel that torn. That's what some people in your life won't understand. And so I personally feel like I want to try to find that balance. There are some creators, everybody, spiritual, they're on spiritual topics and, energetic work. And there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things. But that's why I personally have to find my own way with it and my own balance with it. Because I know where I'm at working through this stuff. And it's not that I want to stay fixated on anger or, the details of a toxic relationship or bashing people or talking about the narcissistic people and their tricks or whatever. And I've got a lot to tell y'all. It goes way beyond all that limited, the narcissist, the empath, and who did what to who. I've got so much deeper insight into that whole thing that I would like to get some videos up about in the future. But that's the thing. The viewers, a lot, when I was putting out those videos, here's how it is. A bind between wanting your channel to grow. We all definitely want to make a living. And some of us want to do it that way through content creation. And so you're always kind of in a bind. A lot of the general public may not know that, but on YouTube, on Facebook, you have to a lot of times try to find a way to do things according to their policies, as far as can't say this, can't say that. You can only do this, you can only do that. You're always torn. Also, between wanting to speak about where you're at energetically now versus kind of staying stuck down in the minutia, in the details of all the crap that did happen. But when I was putting out those videos, people watched it. When I was talking strictly about narcissist does this, narcissist does that, people watched it. And that's the thing. And so I have to somehow find a balance of, even if I'm not still energetically there, if you're going to have a channel and you're going to create content, that's, one of the number one things they recommend that you do is find out what is it your audience is after. What are they watching most? What do they enjoy most? What content of yours did they enjoy the most? And so that's kind of a thing. So if I do find those balances, it's not that I'm not energetically moved on and healing and growing and working through my stuff. It's that I'm acknowledging that not everyone is there yet. There are people on all different levels, and there will be people out there that want that angry material, or they want the insight into a narcissistic abuse relationship, or they want to still delve into those things and they would be interested in the content. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? I'm not trying to follow any, there's a lot of teachers and mentors and whatever, what have you, and I take in a lot of knowledge. I respect a lot of teachings, but at the end of the day, I'm going to process it my way, give credit to the people that I took inspiration from naturally, but form my own opinions and find my own from all that knowledge. That's why I have to take breaks from it sometimes. I don't want to plagiarize. I don't want to follow any person's one teaching too much. I want to take what works and for me and apply it the best way I can, and then filter it through my own inner knowing and put that back out to people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say. If you guys see me doing that, I have to find that balance of speaking from where I'm at now, how I feel now, what I've learned, but also touching back on those things that people got the most from, people that may not be to that level of healing yet, and they may want to hear the nitty-gritty shit. Doesn't mean I'm still obsessing over toxic relationships or narcissist and empath, or no, I've grown far beyond that. I have so much more insight into things. Oh my God, if I could just get it all mentally organized and get it out, than I did have. But people watch that stuff. It's hard to do that if you're not on that level anymore and you want to celebrate being in a whole new energy. But yet, not everybody's there. And there will be people out there that relate to the angry, painful energy that you were in, or the details that you have, maybe the insight that you have from that energy. So the way I see it is, I don't have to be stuck in that energy to talk about it. I don't have to necessarily be stuck in that energy. I can grow far beyond that to recognize that some people are still stuck there. And it's okay. And for the most part, try not to ridicule them or push them more quickly than they are ready to go. But go back and sometimes give them some relatable content. It's like that thing of being able to relate to people on all levels where they are. So yeah, that's something I kind of think about, struggle with, and look for balance on. I don't have to just be in any rigid space if I don't want to. I have a tendency to, sometimes dip back into my darker energies if I need to relate to people, or no matter how healed I am or where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I think it's okay. I think that's a good balance. Also, creative people tend to do that too. The more creative you are, it's like you can grow and heal your energy all you want, and you can be multidimensional, and you can evolve and grow and finding peace within yourself and on a whole new level with people or whatever. But creative people always tend to want to express things a certain way. They will always dip back into that darkness or the longings of the heart, what may seem codependent in psychology or not spiritually evolved enough to some people. For creatives, they thrive a lot of times on that pain and longing and obsession. And for creative people, yes, it's what they write about, it's what they produce, it's what they... And I see that in a multidimensional way, like I was talking about the other day. I can be in all of those dimensions of consciousness at once and somehow try to find the balance of all of them and not let either one of them take me too far over the edge, because they're all a part of me. And try to keep my peace and balance the whole time. I don't necessarily have to just section off into, well, I'm here now and I'm completely to this level of energy, and I never think about those other levels of energy. Maybe that is a place people get to, but I'm certainly not there yet, you know? I mean, I don't know, but I accept that about myself, that the waves and the flow, and that it's not always going to be. Now, I definitely know how to stay in high frequency and how to have thought control and self-control and surrender when I need to surrender and take control when I need to take control, and all those things, you know, find those balances. But I don't think you necessarily have to just be
you get to a point where you're just high frequency all the time. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, I think that's unrealistic. I think, and to each their own. But for me, what's authentic to me is definitely try to keep myself as high frequency as possible when I can. But what's authentic to me is, yes, we live here in this reality, a reality that is full of ego, things of the ego, fear, doubt, self-doubt, anger, envy, pride, shady shit going on everywhere. We live in that here, and we have to navigate that and constantly respond to that and be around that type of thing in this world. So it's realistic for me. It's more realistic for me to just admit that we all have to navigate those things, and that I'm going to be in my lower vibrational energy sometimes. I'm not always going to be able to be in high frequency. I don't think anybody on this earth can stay in complete and total highest frequency, highest version of self at complete peace. Parts of their ego that need to be dealt with, put down, and the parts of their ego they need to keep up here. I don't think any of us are ever going to be completely perfect at that. That's all I'm really trying to say, is that that's authentic to me, to be able to navigate all those energies and kind of have something for everyone, and it not be fake. It be real, because I've either experienced it or felt it, am feeling it at the time, or have evolved beyond that, but had to work through all that suffering before. It's all authentic to me. And if I want to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. Doesn't make me stuck. It doesn't mean that I'm dwelling there. Even though I have grown and evolved spiritually and emotionally to a little bit more peaceful place within myself about a lot of things, a lot of that stuff still resides in me, and it longs to come out. And I don't see that as being stuck at all. If you want to express it, put it in a song, put it in a painting, talk about it with people, write a poem about it. Creatives do that kind of stuff all the time. And it's weird, but yeah, if they were to be at a place of complete and total peace, which I don't think any of us can achieve while here on this earth, then we wouldn't have a lot of those inner longings and the desire to search and create. And it's something that drives inside of us because of all of these lessons and obstacles and challenges and suffering that we go through. So it's all one to me. It's all a part of it. Yeah. You have to know what level somebody's on. If they're brand new, fresh in their damn pain, and they just went through a divorce this week, or they just went through some kind of shocking passing in their family this week, or if they are brand new and fresh in their grief and pain, you have to sense where they're at. You don't look at them and say, oh, it's all for a good reason. Oh, we created this, and believe me, you won't even be angry about this in a few months. You won't even feel it. You'll be fine. You'll heal. Just do your healing work. Of course, they're going to be mad at you. Of course, they're going to tell you to off. You don't do that. It depends on the level of someone's healing. Okay? If someone had said that to me last year, while I was in the depths of hell and anger and sorrow and pain and betrayal, and everywhere I looked, it felt like I was being scapegoated and lied on and just the whole damn thing. I had to go through a complete and total ego death on my own. If someone had said that to me before I was ready, before I had done the work and gotten to a place of acceptance, and like Pete Sapper was talking about the other night in his podcast, Purification by Fire, and talking about some different spiritual processes, energy updates, and things we're going through, he mentioned how allowance is a much better word than acceptance, and he explained why. And I completely dug it. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that particular podcast, maybe in another video coming up. I love his work, but yeah, you until you get to a place of allowance, acceptance, allowance, but allowance is better, and I'll explain why at some point in the future. Until you get to that place, then make a shit what people tell you. You're still feeling raw. You're still feeling bitter and angry and hurt. And for someone to try to rush that process and wipe some spiritual sprinkle dust all over it, I get it. I'm not one of those people who will ever look at you and do that. I respect your process. I know how to save space for people and not look at them and judge them when they're on any particular part of their own damn healing process, whatever it was they lost, whatever the hell it is going on with them. It is what it is. As long as they're not trying to wrap me up in it and drag me down with it and make me be responsible for all their fallout while they take their time. Take your time all you want to. Heal on your own damn level. Be as angry, as sad, be whatever you want. But don't let the fallout hit other people. Be responsible for that much. That's all I care about. You know, don't run out and grab a bunch of people and drag them into it. I sat alone. That's what I do. When I'm not at my best self, when I'm not at my best energy, when I'm in my lower vibrational self, or I am just unwell, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, I withdraw from people. I don't want to put that energy on them. And everybody has a different thing that they need, a way that you can show them love and respect and support during that time. For some of us, it's not you being all up on us. Hey, you okay? You okay? You want to come over? You want to hang out? Come out here. Or ignoring what we're going through. Hey, you want to hang out? You want to go do? You want to do? I need you. Hey, can you come and do? Certainly not. For some of us, how you can love, respect, and support us is to give us that space and let us know that we're safe in that space, that you still care about us, that you're not going anywhere, that even though you're not physically with us, you're allowing us to have that private time that we need to regenerate, that you're still out there, that you still care, that you're still loyal, that you're not going to punish us because we needed to align with ourselves and we were sick. And I've been through that type of betrayal many times. That because I needed to take care of me, people that I gave that space to loyally, many, many times, I have needed to take that same space for myself. And they were nowhere to be found when I got better. Or while I was going through that, they punished me. They found other people who were more fun and let me know that I'm not allowed to go through anything. I'm not allowed to be sick. I'm not allowed to be human. I'm not allowed to be depressed. I'm not allowed to fall down. I'm not allowed to say, "Whoo, please, I'm overwhelmed. My brain's breaking." They're allowed to say it, and they're allowed to have your support, but you're not. You have to be some ever-going machine, and if you don't show up front and center, you can't be that all the time. Your ass gets abandoned. You get tossed aside. That's no fun. But, you know, I'm used to shit like that. Been around it all my life. People who are not computing how shady that is, how shitty that is. I don't even worry about it anymore. I don't wish bad things on anybody. I already know as a part of my own damn inner wisdom, and people took that offensively too. You can't win sometimes. I already know as a part of my own damn common sense and inner wisdom that whatever energetic, whatever shit you put out, it will catch you. I don't have to do anything to you. And if I were to sit up and wish something bad to happen to you, how stupid would that be? I don't fuck with energetic laws. No, I'm not getting trapped up in that. And if you do, you're a fool. How stupid would that be? Even for my worst enemy, for me to wish and see that in my mind, bad things happening to them, or wish for them to fail, or wish misery upon them, or whatever, just because I didn't get my way, or whatever, what have you. Or even if they did something very shitty to me, bad, hurtful, betrayed, how stupid would it be for me to sit up and focus energy, visualizing it and plotting it and planning it and thinking about it and wishing for it, to actually use energy to focus on something like that, vengeance? Do you know how stupid that is? For me, no. Hey, I get it. Sometimes people gotta do what they do. When I was younger, I didn't know any better. You're not getting me to fuck up my energy like that. Hell no, because I've seen it come back too many times. So all I do when I'm being hurt, betrayed, metaphorically twisted inside out, injustice, lied on, used, exploited, people aren't doing me right these days, I don't give them the chance, number one, but these days, I take my hands off the situation. I don't picture them. I don't picture bad for them. I don't put any energy into what's going to happen to them, because I have to take my hands off of it and surrender to that process. I'll get into all that later. Because I know damn well in my common sense and my own inner wisdom and just laws of energy, whatever you're focusing, oh, that energy, boy, you want to get even with somebody, boy, you're going to show them, aren't you? All that energy into punishing people and being emotionally immature and not thinking things through and not just taking a step back and going ahead and put that energy on something more useful and powerful for your own life. I don't play with that because I already know how it comes out. It will catch up, especially when there's a lot of powerful energy involved with someone loving you and caring for you, or if you put out a lot of negative, vengeful, and you really focused on bringing harm and hurt to another person's heart and went out of your way, I don't have to do anything. And that's just what it is. I don't make the laws. I don't make the rules. I don't create this stuff. And for somebody to get pissed at me for giving them that wisdom and saying, hey, man, hey, look here, you better be careful with that, because it all comes back around. Suffering, consequences, to come back and show us what we did. I've had it happen to me too many times. I don't play with it. I go ahead and put my energy and my focus, as hard as it might be. I know sometimes, boy, I know how hard it is, but I already know the best way. Click, and refocus that energy onto something more productive and useful for yourself, because that's going to get handled. Might not be tomorrow. You might not get that satisfaction you think you're going to get for taking revenge. Boy, doesn't that make you feel better? Please. But in the end, they will get the lesson that they need. And that's what it's all about anyway. First and foremost, now if this is a real person that really brought harm to you or your family, a real criminal, there's all kinds of situations, and I get it. But if this is a loved one or a partner or somebody you've been really going through it with, do you really want to bring hurt to them anyway? Do you really, really want to bring pain to them? Does it make you feel better? Because if it does, you've got some emotional growing to do. So really what you want anyway is for them to get their lessons. That's all you really want, is for them to be able to grow and mature and awaken. And they're not going to get those lessons any faster with you trying to force it or control it or put vengeance upon them or whatever it is, I'll show you, and that kind of bullshit. No, you have to just pull back and let them go get those lessons. They will get them eventually. You might not be there to see it. So it's not about your satisfaction. It's not about that, especially when you love somebody. That ego, boy, it wants to kick up in our ass, though. I want everybody to see that my pain was justified and it hurt and that I want this corrected and I want justice. I know, because I want the same thing, because there's been some unjust shit that has happened to me, especially in the last few years. But the best thing for me is to take that, I'll continue in part 2.